Wait, what? Really? Okay.
Okay, with your host, Loren Weisman.
This is a fully licensed theme song for the show about stuff that makes you say, wait, what? Really? Okay.
Okay.
The state of publishing, writing, and putting out a book, to me, has become terrifyingly dishonest. And right now, in this time of dishonesty, there are more and more companies using AI models that allow for these books to be written, as they even profess, in minutes. One of the strangest issues that I notice with it and that I have with it is how incredibly popular these ads are on sites like Instagram, where it's not just the ad, and yeah, okay, there's a whole bunch of fake people saying, oh, wow, this is really neat, this is really neat, but people saying, real people with real profiles, saying they're genuinely excited about this. They've always wanted to do something like this. They've always wanted to write a book. But you're not writing a book. You're adding in a prompt. Some of them claim that you can set up a prompt in 2 minutes and then have a complete book. Some of these ads, they're stating, oh, just go in here, add this prompt, you'll have this, you'll be able to upload it, you'll be able to go out with your friends and have lunch, and now you're an author. I find that pathetic. I find it to be dishonest. And as someone that I would consider myself a real author, it makes me not want to tell anyone I'm an author anymore. For all these people that are out there saying, oh, you'll be able to tell people you're an author. Would you? Would you be that honest with it? Would you share with someone exactly how you wrote your book? Would you put on the front and the back a little note stating below the by your name that I did a prompt, I filled out a couple questions, I added this part, and then AI wrote it for me? Most people probably not. And yet, so many are out there doing it. I've authored 3 books of my own. I've helped from a messaging standpoint on a series of other books. It's a long process. And people saying it doesn't have to be that long. It can be done in minutes. I was proud of my 3rd book, which I knocked out in just a little shy of 4 months. But that also included, on average, 4 to 5 hours of writing on a given day, 5 days a week, as well as going back and forth with the editor and the proofreader and legal and all that stuff. And not saying that other people shouldn't be involved in a book. You should. And it's not saying that AI can't be involved in a book. It can be. You could give certain stuff to AI for a developmental edit, if you're being honorable, that is. You could give stuff to AI for the grammatical. You could use some of these AI systems for proofreading. You could use some of these AI systems for legal aspects of compliance. You could use AI in a series of ways that doesn't take away from the validity if you actually wrote the book. And yet, this is being bypassed. Now, inside of algorithmic learning, it's not necessarily artificial intelligence, but algorithmic learning, for you to put in such a simplified pattern or answer just a couple simple questions and then all of a sudden you have a book. How does the copyright work on that? Does that, are you honestly sharing a copyright? Would you? To state, okay, well, I wrote this with this given site or this given model. I mean, the same thing could be said for these courses too. These fake courses where it's fill in, oh, this stuff is easy. It's 10 minutes of filling these things in and a course will be created for you. What a deceiving ripoff. If you can fill out something for 5 to 10 minutes, and that in turn gives you a course that makes you look like an expert that you're selling, I question your honor, I question your morals, I question your professionalism, and I question you as an individual. And it's so sad that there are so many companies that are looking for people, questionable people, that will simply use their little model, flip this thing through, and in a sense, they're looking for liars. They're looking for people that are happy to deceive. They're looking for people that will use their information. Oh, they'll scrape pieces from here and from there. And maybe even from a couple of these courses, maybe you do learn a thing or two. But would you share that with your students? So for your little, my $99 course, my $499 course, my this course, my that course, and all the marketing with it, would you put right on that front page in that scroll down section and your special and your discount, would you list, these were the questions I was asked, this is what was prompt, and then it was returned to me, and I packaged it, marketed it, and I'm selling it to you. Now, for those that have no problem with that, who am I to judge? I have my feelings. I have my opinions on it. But to those out there looking for genuine authority, for those out there that are looking for genuine education, for those out there that are looking for real intelligence, it's time to dig a little bit deeper and watch out from what you're being presented and from what's being presented to you. And even those that have authority. There was one particular lawyer that had a book and a course. And this guy, I believe in some of what I heard from him, he definitely knew his stuff inside of family law. But what he didn't realize, or it seems he didn't realize, was that he used one of these little course creators. And it took away his authority. And it turned it into fluff. And because it was probably a 5-minute prompt, it put a whole bunch of stuff in there that did not show the efforts. To write a book means, or used to mean, you wrote it. Yes, you would have editors. Yes, you would have, people to proofread. You'd have technical editors. You'd even have developmental editors. My second book, there was an entire team at that publishing house to help make that book what it was. But the voice, the narrative, the message, the experience, the authenticity, the wisdom, the intelligence, that came from me. And it was hard to write that book. It took a very long time. It was a better part of 12 and a half months of writing. And then we went into the editing phases. Things had to get moved around. There was a lot there. I wrote 1,200 pages. That got, shrunken down into 478. And I needed help with that. And there was an amazing guy. I still he took the time to read every single one of those pages. And it wasn't the cheapest, the cheapest situation because that's time. It wasn't just AI. But these days, so there's certain people saying, why don't you share? Why don't you lead a little bit more that you're the author of these books? Because the term author to me has lost so much of its validity and authority. It's been dropped back because these people are calling themselves authors that are actually liars. They are prompters. They've prompted the idea of a book. They've used an AI system that can then, from that prompt, generate stuff. And from that prompt, you can state who you're aiming for. And now it's generating content that does not come from this individual. Oh, great. Maybe you even say, okay, well, I want you to prompt and pull from a whole bunch of my blogs on my website and blogs that you wrote. So it's pulling certain information. But it's still this initial process. The majority of the process is a lie. And that to me is so unfortunate. I don't understand, and I guess I don't understand with a lot of the AI, and I don't understand how not only cheating, which at one point it was let's do it really quietly, has now turned into a thing where people are advertising how you can cheat. They're advertising, here's the ways that you can do it. All you have to do is this. You will appear as an authority. And I kind of like that whole appear as an authority because in a way, there's a little honesty in the middle of this because you're not an authority. You're not an author if this is the system you're using. And I think that if you're using these kind of systems, it reduces your authority. Be true to you and look a little bit deeper. Look, when you see a book, if you're not 100% sure about it, is all of a sudden this person, they were just doing this and doing that, or they were this kind of, because I know this is very popular with that life coaching and the business consultants. Oh, they've regurgitated so much crap. And there are many that have written books and they regurgitated it too. But search some of these chapter names. Search the title. Search the opening, the closing. See if that tone, see if it's showing up anywhere else. Look at, some of these people now, and they're stating, oh, you could put out a book a week. Nobody writes a book a week. And even some of these larger scale authors, even some of the romance authors of the, when it was that supermarket, buy the book, some of these people had their ghostwriters, had their writing team. It was almost like the early stages of AI, but it was with real people, where it's okay, you're going to scope out the concept, you're going to hand it to some other people, let them develop it, let them add to it. It wasn't really a developmental edit. It was really having a series of co-writers and then bringing it back to the author, and the author had paid these other people and they zapped their name on it. The other one I can't stand, it doesn't seem to be quite as popular these days. And I think the lack of the popularity is because now you have the ability to make it all your own, is that book of 20 different authors on something, which is somebody who's trying to make a buck and say, oh, I'm going to promote you. It's going to give you a great promotion. Write this little section here. I had people coming to me with some business books where they're like, write this section. Here's what you pay me, and I'll put this in the book, and it's going to do great for your business. And I would say, I don't want to be associated with some of these people you're talking to. Oh, no, these are big names. I'm like, yeah, they're frauds. Some of them are frauds. Some of them are hype machines. Some of them don't know what they're talking about. And yet you're claiming it's this authorship of all these people together. No, it's a product. Is it a product that you want to create to try to hype yourself? And if so, if a book is not in you, don't write a book. If a course is not in you, don't create a course. I don't care. If you need money and you can't organize your content, your expertise to be amplified in the best way possible for you, that you need to lie, cheat, and steal, then it's time to get another job. Or I guess with some of these people, it's fine. Just do what you'll do. Think with a foundational transparency. Realize, and even with these AI things that they're telling kids to use in college, use this. It'll hide the AI writing. We've come into this time on these sites like Instagram and these product models and these business models of here's how you cheat, here's how you don't get caught, here's how you create something amazing, here's how you become an author. The last time I checked, becoming an author does not consist of creating a prompt and trying to sell people BS. And again, the option is there. Yet just because something is available doesn't mean you should do it. Just because a whole bunch of other people you know that are doing it doesn't mean you should do it. And maybe you can take some pride. And maybe you can take just some foundational, ethical, moral, just honesty. And be able to fire back and say, here's how I used AI. I used it for this part of the editing. Here's how long it took me to write it. Here's how much I wrote. Here's where I got my help. I create the bulk of my stuff that I'm putting out these days is more so videos and podcasts. I create a couple 1 minutes, 3 days a week. The other 2 days a week, I create the fuller length, but they usually stand at between, 3, 4, 5 minutes max. I create those ideas. I'm not going to use some kind of trending software. I'm not using a script thing from AI. These are my thoughts from my experiences. Now, once that video is done, I bring it into sites like Submagic. And it automatically, with AI, creates the captions. I also am a partial fan of vidIQ. Not for it to sit here and tell me this is what I have to film and this is what I should film and here's the latest trend, so just hop on this train. No, I like that I can upload to vidIQ a video. I can upload, I can also add in and say, okay, here's the captions, here's the script, here's the point of what I'm going for. What would be some good keywords to add to that and add to the description? It's the same thing with descriptions. I create my videos. I will say, okay, I have just created a video. This is what the video is. This is the title of the video. Here is the transcription from the video. I'm looking for a couple keyword phrases that would be strong from what's been created to amplify the marketing. And that feels completely moral and ethical and transparent to me. I'm happy to share that with the world. Well, it's strange that some people, from the faceless YouTube channels to others that will go, okay, what's trending? What's hot? What do I need? Oh gosh, I got to write a script. Not anymore. You can click on it and vidIQ will do it. And some of these other ones will do it for you. That's not honest. Using AI as an editing tool, using AI to enhance or assist on authority, I find to be a moral, ethical thing. And it's something that I have no problem sharing how I use it. To these people that choose to hide that, to these people that choose to deceive, to these people that use it so that it completely creates their content, all their authority, all their knowledge, because it's built from somewhere else. That to me is dangerous. And that to me, it makes me wonder, for the people that are looking into it, what is it? Not only are they scamming, but they're holding themselves with no liability to anybody, no accountability. So if you start seeing somebody that just pops up out of nowhere, watch for some of the signs. Do you notice that for all of a sudden, they didn't seem to have much going on? They had a couple blogs here. They had a couple posts here with social media, and then all of a sudden, they're drenched in social media. They have all these blogs coming out day after day after day after day, and many posts in a given day. That might be AI. It might not be them. Do they all of a sudden, have they gone from never writing a book to all of a sudden they have 5 books in a series of months? To all of a sudden having these courses that just seem to have come out of nowhere? Might be AI. Yes, there are people that are working and they're putting together and they're prepping certain stuff for a given launch, and that's one thing. But when all of a sudden the content, the courses, a series of books, a whole bunch of stuff seems to all of a sudden come into play, that might have been the time when they signed up for their little subscription, they paid their little fees, and they're in full exploiting mode of you. Don't get caught in trying to buy into the hype that is not true. And even inside of some of this, you may notice, see if you can get something where you can test out and read through it. Does it look like it's just a call to action? There's one individual I worked on with a book, and I stepped away from working with him because at first it was truly a stewarding, gifting, intelligent book from an amazing individual that had great knowledge and great experience. But then he turned it into a call to action. Everything was a call to action about that book. And it's not saying that a book can't promote your authority, but I don't believe a book should create your authority. And I don't believe that a book needs to be a call to action. From that book, if someone gets a good enough sense, wow, well, this is who he is. This is how he does it. These are his experiences. This is a sense of him. Okay, great. But if in a chapter 3 different times to learn more, to learn this, to get this, you just got to work with me. You just sign up here. Pay me this. Then it's not a book. It's an ad pamphlet, in my opinion. And for the individuals that see these things, yes, I get it. It can be enticing. It's kind of like, sugar candy of like, I've always wanted to have a book. This scam site says I can have a book. I think deep down, most people know that, wait, I'm going to be an author in 2 minutes. They know that there's something wrong with that. Go with your gut. Think about it. Pray on it. Stand on a foundation of truth and transparency. Because as you build, as AI gets smarter, AI is also beginning to identify more and more the fakes. And for people saying, we're able to hide this AI, we're able to hide the AI writing. More themes, more patterns are showing up. More is coming out. Are you prepared in your business, with your product, with your service? Are you prepared to go truly transparent for who you are, for what you know, for where you learned it, for the knowledge, the wisdom, the discernment that you've grown? Does it prove out, or did it magically appear overnight because of an AI system? Did you hire some kind of marketing AI thing to give off the appearance, or did you genuinely go and learn these things? It's even awful. Some of these colleges, you don't need to go this long. You don't need this long to get this master's. How do you know? This individual might need that. It's looking in and it's vetting and it's digging deeper and it's choosing the path that you want to go. In the end, it is your choice. There are more options now than ever to lie, to deceive, to cheat, to steal, to rip off, to appear as something that you are absolutely not. But there's also in the middle of this honesty, there's integrity, there's the ability to stand out and shine like a bright, beautiful light of truth, of love, and of transparency. Of being able to share transparently. Hey, I did use AI, but I used it this way. Here's what I did to create this. Here's how long it took me to write the book. Here's how I wrote it. Talk about those things. Showcase so that you can share if you're going the moral route, if you're going the transparent route. So you can be seen differently in a sea of fakes, in how you stand and how you wrote and where the book came from, in where the experiences happened, and how you put this together. Having that little story that may end up being a series of videos, it may end up being a series of blogs, of posts, of pictures, of the process, of the time. Track it. When did you first sit down to start writing? When did you stop? I've been writing something. It looks like it may be another book for me. It started off not intentionally. At first it was, I'm just going to get this out, to now becoming something that goes like, okay, this may be a book. This may be a book for a side of the story that I feel I want to have seen. And I've gotten to the point where it was started in June. And I wrote the opener and the closer. I guess you could call it opening and closing thoughts for the whole thing this morning. And in that may be my next book. I'm not sure yet, but I can state, here's what I did. Here's how I worked on it. Here's how I created it. Here's the process. Here's the dates. Here's the timeline. I'm going that extra distance right now to showcase this came from me and did not come from a prompt or an AI system or some cheap software thing. That this is me. And that's where I want to leave you with this one. Be you. If you're going to be honorable, if you're going to show that integrity, to stand out against this sea of lies, of deception, thievery, false fronts, and fake people, and even those with some authority but trying to shortcut. Share how you didn't. A great deal of your marketing and your message and part of that narrative can be shown in how you did it to prove that you did it. And in that, how much better would it feel to be able to say, no, this guy's an author and this guy's an author. Are they? I can't say if they are. I can't say if they're not. But I can tell you this is the blood, sweat, tears, and time that I put in. And with anything that's worth anything, it is blood, sweat, tears, and time. And while they claim, and many of these fake false flag companies and scam artists, oh, you just do this in 2 minutes. Somewhere deep down, I believe everyone knows it's fake, it's wrong, it's untrue, and it's a way to make a quick buck. And I'd like to see, accountability on that. I'd like to see that if you had to use those things, that you would not be allowed a copyright, or it would have to be stated somewhere in the book what this was and how it was created. That's not coming anytime soon. But at the same time, for you to counter and be able to tell the truth of your process, your system, how you came to get from point A to point B and the details in there, then in that transparency, you're blowing the others out of the water and you're showcasing the truth of you, the truth of a book, of where you stand, of what you have for experiences and what you are capable of over so many others that have so little capability to do anything that they're looking for any way to appear as something they're not. And they don't care how it could come off, if they're lying, if they're deceiving, if they're cheating. As long as they can make that quick buck and hold no accountability in the moment, they're thrilled. Shame on them. And instead of being like them, consider standing in honor and transparency as you. Be true. Be true to you. Be true to the audience that you may want to build or that you're trying to build. I believe it makes all the difference in the world and really highlights who you are as a person and who you would share that with. I mean, and the last thing I'll say, would you tell a daughter or a son, this is how you created a book? Would you tell a family member? Would you tell somebody that you look up to, this is what you did? And this is the process that you did? And if you don't feel comfortable or there's something tugging or nagging, then why do that to the public at large? Honor yourself. Be true. Be transparent. Be professional. Even in a world where everyone is saying you don't have to and you can go the other way. Take that route that a little less people are going through. Go through that gate that's a little skinnier than the other one. It's something that may allow you to be a little bit more proud of the achievement of what you create and how you created it. So that's about it. That's my rant on this one. Maybe a little more emotional than it needs to be, but that's where I stand on this new practice of the 2-minute prompted book and the type of people and the choices that people are making right now to appear as so much more, while in a sense, it only amplifies how much less they are as a person.
Wait, what? Really? Okay.
Okay.